Dear viewers, welcome to the 7th webinar of our webinar series Essay Contest Winners Forum, facilitated by the Goi Peace Foundation. My name is Patrick Petit. I'm a Goi Peace Foundation staff member based in Munich, Germany, and I'm in charge of co-producing the webinar series Essay Contest Winners Forum. Today's webinar addresses the theme Youth Innovating for a Better World. In that respect, we have the great honor and privilege for having among us 3 distinguished previous first prize essay contest winners who will be our panelists at this webinar, namely Anjali Sarker from Bangladesh. Anjali will be moderating today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today and for moderating it, dear Anjali.
Thank you.
Our second speaker is going to be Shreenabh Agrawal from India, from the city of Nagpur. Welcome, Shreenabh, to today's webinar. Thank
Namaste.
you for joining and for participating. And our third speaker and participant is Udayan Saha, also from India, joining us from Dehradun, at the foot of the Himalayan mountains. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I have now the great pleasure to hand over the moderation of this webinar to Anjali. Anjali, I give you the floor.
Thank you, Patrick. Welcome, viewers. Today we are going to talk about youth innovation and how we can harness youth's energy to create a better future for all of us. So the Fridays for Future demonstration run by millions of young people around the world have given us new energy, new hope, and I think it has proven clearly that young people do care about the world they are living in. So today it's our honor to have amazing 2 young people from India who are going to talk about their work, their motivation, and the hope they have for the other young people around the world. So without further ado, I would like to start with Shreenabh. And my first question to you, Shreenabh, would be, what drives you to make the world a better place? Shreenabh.
So first of all, let me thank the Goi Peace Foundation for carrying out exemplary work in bringing peace to the world. I also, through this webinar, would want to extend my warmest greetings to each one of the Goi Peace Foundation family. Winning the award last year was a life-changing experience for me. After coming back from Tokyo last year, I have tried my best to carry out small activities to spread peace all around me. My family, my parents, neighbors, friends, young students, and many more. I have worked towards my inner transformation as I believe that only the one who is internally peaceful can spread peace outside. Thank you, sir, for creating this wonderful platform and connecting all the past winners. I am happy to be with Udayan from my own country, India, and the marvelous sister from my neighbor country, Bangladesh. I send a lot of love and regards to your families through this webinar. Now coming back to the question, what drives me towards making the world a better place? Well, it is the plight of the senior citizens, their empty and sad eyes looking for company, which drives me to make the world a happy place for them. The small children unfortunately falling in open borewells and losing their lives drives me to make the world a safer place. The farmers in my country struggling to save their crops from viruses drives me to solve their problems. Basically anything that needs a remedy attracts my attention and I make an humble attempt to solve the same as per my knowledge and capability.
Thank you, Shreenabh. I think that was a few perfect examples how we can be more aware of the environment we are living in and how we can transform needs into motivation. I think a lot of us see needs around us, but do not take the right actions, which you are taking at this moment. I would like to move to Udayan now. So Udayan, if you can just say a little bit about what motivates you to make the world a better place.
Okay, so thank you, Anjali, for giving me this opportunity to speak on this forum. I once watched a documentary, A Beautiful Planet. It was filmed by astronauts to showcase the beauty and the fragility of our planet. It made me realize that our Earth is so precious and it's our only home in the entire universe which is habitable. We must do everything to prevent it from damaging and disappearing due to global warming and climate change. I strongly believe that people do want to make the world a better place. That is when that is why when a calamity happens, people rush into help with whatever they can. So thank you.
Great. I think you also touched on a very important point, Udan, that this planet is the only home we have. So if we cannot, take care of this, if we cannot protect this planet, if we cannot make it sustainable, then of course we do not have any other home to rely on. Thanks
Yes.
both of you. I think that that's a great introduction, and now we can move deeper into today's discussion. I'll go back to Shreenabh, and my question is, if you think about your work, can you give us a few examples of, how do you innovate? How do you, I know that you are a fascinating innovator who's permanently coming up with very inspiring ideas and innovations, and you have won a lot of prizes too. So giving us examples from your work, your community, can you say exactly how you do it? What are you doing right now?
Sure. So I have developed the concept of oldie goldie clubs and I am working towards its implementation. I have also some innovative products such as a sustainable farming method using jute fibers as a protective covering on the soil to prevent it from drying and keeping it cool, which reduces the water requirement. I have also developed an organic pesticide using the plant Tridex procumbens for preventing the destruction of crops such as okra and papaya from yellow mosaic virus. Also, I have developed a grey water segregation system using tanks lined by alum and Typhus elephantina plant. In my pursuit of preventing cybercrimes and senior citizens being cheated in online transactions, I have designed and tested a cost-effective, non-deterministic hardware random number generator. Also, in many places in India, the covers of the bore wells are stolen or lost to degeneration, and there are frequent accidents wherein small children fall and are trapped in the boreholes. I have designed a triple lock borehole lid which solves the problem and saves many lives. So these are some of the innovations which I am carrying out.
And just to expand a little more on this idea, can you also tell us a little bit about how these innovations are changing the community you live in, how people are using your products or services? Are they getting benefits from it? So what do you see around?
Okay, so I would like to begin again with the oldie goldie clubs. So presently we are running this practice of oldie goldie clubs in around 11 different locations in my city and around the places where I live. So in these clubs, what happens is the old people who are the retired professionals and the experts in their own fields, they come and guide the younger generation who are more or less, we can say, not oriented properly towards their goals and lack proper guidance. So when I see oldie goldie clubs actually happening in and around my places, like one oldie goldie club is going on in my school itself. So where our director, madam, and different people of our age come and guide the young students in basically the library or the auditorium. So there, where I see the oldie goldie clubs working and the transfer of knowledge actually happening from the old generation to the younger generation, I feel very happy and motivated to work more on this idea. And this process is actually, I think it is a transformating idea for the whole world. And I would see that I would like to see more of these oldie goldie clubs running around in and around my city. And my dream is to start these clubs in every nook and corner of the globe. Next, if you talk about the products which I have developed, including the borehole protection lid. So in my state, Actually, my father works in the water, like groundwater department. So he has carried out the implementation of this project and around various borewells in my state, Maharashtra, where I live in, and it has started to bring about results. This locking system which I have developed, it cannot be easily opened or like degraded, or and anyone cannot steal it. So the boreholes are more secure, and this problem is getting solved to a greater extent. So I think that's it.
I think that's very inspiring. I mean, you are not even 16-year-old yet, and still you are doing this amazing work. I think that's an inspiration. That should be an inspiration for all the teenagers all over the world. So over to you, Uday. If you can share a little bit about what you are working on right now and how your work is benefiting your communities.
Okay, so I would like to continue, Anjali. So these days, due to advances in medical sciences, people are living longer, but most of the aged people are living very lonely lives. So what happens that I would like to develop a digital platform which connects the lives of the old and the youth and enriches the lives of both. This realization has been mainly driven by my own experiences. My mother is an architect who works mainly in the interiors of the Himalayas. I often accompany her to her project sites, and in the process, I have got to know much about life in the villages. The Himalayan mountain villages are mostly inhabited by old people whose children have migrated to towns and cities in the plains in search of a livelihood. These old people are a treasure house of stories and wisdom. So I would like to continue that I always, whenever I go to the hills, I look forward for meeting them as they are very nice and friendly and are willing to take me around the place. And they are, and they explain about a lot of things like what is around you, what is around in your surroundings, how was the village like, what is the history of the place. In the process, I've got to know much about uh, rural life in the villages and agriculture, forestry, traditions, which are very important in Indian culture. I would like to develop an app called Go to Your Grandpa, which fulfills the purpose of connecting the youth with the aged. Thank you.
I think this is also incredibly inspiring. A lot of us feel the disconnect between, our generation, our parents' generation, and also the grandfather and grandmother, their generation. But being so young and still you are taking this initiative to actually bridge the gap. And it's so inspiring to see how you are going there, going to the hills, talking to people. So it's not just the idea that you have developed in your mind, but you are so well grounded, well connected to the realities, and you are trying to inspired by them and then translate that inspiration into something that can benefit not just you, but I hope a lot more, many other people. That's amazing. So now I would like to talk a little bit about the challenges you both of you are facing. So I'll go back to Shreenabh again. A lot of young people, when they try to think about innovation, they think it's very expensive. Maybe we do not have the money, or maybe I need to have some, very powerful connections to start something. Maybe I'm too young to solve a problem. There are so many barriers and misconceptions and myths that actually prevent us from innovating, especially when it comes to young people. So if you can talk a bit about the challenges you are facing and maybe share, how you're overcoming them.
Okay. So the biggest challenge which I think that I face in my innovation process is my age. When I try to tell the world about my innovations, I'm not taken seriously first, but then looking at my perseverance and passion, I get the hand holding of some wonderful mentors, and my road becomes smooth. I would like to talk about the mentorship of my oldie goldies, and like it infuses a new hope, and I double my efforts. Things take a new shape, and an innovation is born. It's that simple.
Great. And what about you, Udan? Have you faced similar challenges, or your challenges are somewhat different? What's the challenge, and how are you overcoming it?
My idea is still an idea, and I'm trying hard to develop it. Yes, I do face challenges, but what is life without challenges? So, in order to counter those challenges, I have broken them into small action points. The first step is to make a pilot project in which some select users will be there in using the digital platform of connecting the youth with the old. Another challenge is that the elderly people are not comfortable with today's digital world. They are more in the past and think about the past, while the youth are too engrossed in uh, online games and are not willing to take part in more enriching experiences that are there. So I and my mother have started taking people, young and old, everybody of all age groups, on small picnics and heritage walks to mountain villages. And I think that it will bring results after some time and some years. Thank you.
I think that's a very interesting example. When you were talking, I could almost visualize you and your mother, walking down the path, talking to other people. It's so amazing to see how,
Yes,
despite being young, you are not intimidating by the challenges, but you are trying to think very rationally, step by step. This is how I solve it. I think even many adults can, take a note and learn from both of you. I think
yes.
that's very interesting. If you think about young people like you who are around the world, who might do something but not doing it yet, maybe they are, afraid to take the first step. Maybe something is telling us, oh, you are too young to, make a difference. So
Yes.
how do you motivate them? So if I go back to Shreenabh again, if you can share your thoughts on how youth around the world can take leadership role and start making small changes like you are doing.
So I believe that the enthusiasm in young people and their energy, if given a right direction, can work wonders. So recently I've started an awareness campaign in India for spreading awareness about e-waste management, wastewater management, garbage management, food banks, etc. So what I do is I write articles every week which are published and are circulated to more than 3 lakh leaders, that's around 300,000. And I am sure slowly but certainly this will bring a positive change. An old saying says that unity is strength. I believe that if the youth of today want to get their voices heard, they should stand united and speak up. Being fascinated by the world of comprehensive research, I believe that before speaking up, one should study the problem in great detail and gather all the facts. Impulsive behavior may create problems. It is rightly said, with time and patience, the mulberry leaves turn satin. So that is the message I want to give to the youth for converting their ideas into proper actions and finally bringing about change in the world.
I think this is one very interesting step that many youth around the world can take. So that reminds me of a time when I was not a teenager, way behind of you. So when I was in university, I was a social entrepreneur, and I really wanted to encourage other young people around me, women, men, everyone, to think about entrepreneurship and don't just look for jobs, but start, creating something if they're passionate about it. So I started writing on the national daily newspaper, And interestingly, after, when I was writing about entrepreneurship, I was sharing my experiences. I was interviewing other entrepreneurs and sharing their journeys on the newspaper so that many other people can know, oh, this is how they have done it. So maybe I can give it a try. I was overwhelmed with, emails and messages on Facebook, and lots of people, they were talking to me about, oh, so maybe I should do it as well. So it's very, very, I think it's a very effective tool when you write about something. And Shreenabh, you have been doing it so amazingly, and I have read both of your essays. You are fantastic writers, I have to say. So when you are writing about your experiences, when you are sharing that with the world, I think even you do not know how many young people are, feeling inspired by reading your articles or by reading your write-ups. So I think it's a very important point that you have just made. If we can start taking very small steps, no matter whether it's an article or, something, or even a Facebook post on, on Facebook. So no matter how small the step is, if we put ourselves out there, maybe someone somewhere in the world will feel inspired and do something differently. I personally feel very inspired by looking at you and the writings, that the practices that you are doing right now. So going back to Udayan, so what do you
Yes.
think about that? What can young people do?
Yes, Anjali, I shall begin. So, the future of this planet belongs to the youth, and the youth needs to take the leadership. Right now, all policy decisions, everything, are being taken by our earlier generations. And look at the state of things. We have climate change, we have global warming, we have plastic pollution, and I can go on and on. Our earlier generations have been fed on a diet of development, development, and only development. And what kind of development? Economic development. We need development that is inclusive and sustainable. We need balance. We need balanced development. Well, for the earlier generations, development signified only economic development and consumerism at the cost of the planet. I feel that this term has got glued to their minds. They are just not able to shake it off. But we, the youth of today, are uh, have the responsibility of taking care of this planet. We need to show the human race that the planet, the earth, needs to be conserved. And the first thing that needs to be done is flexibility, a change in mindset. For that, the youth needs to come forward, as the mindset of the earlier generation is more resistant to change. Thank you.
I think this speaks to my heart. Trust me, when you were talking about how development is not enough, but it needs to be inclusive, it needs to be sustainable. Just
Yes,
the mindless pursuit of growth, grow more and maybe build more factories, or, make more money, or more is not always better. I think right now I'm doing my MBA at the University of Oxford, and here we talk a lot about how to rethink growth and how growth is not the only solution, especially when we are about to hit the planetary boundaries. We are exploiting the natural resources, we are exploiting labor around the world. So many things that the previous generations have done before, maybe they were good for the 19th century world, right? But now
yes,
we are living in a different century. This is 21st century, and we don't have a lot of resources. The planet is, at a very critical condition where it's almost too late to react. So
yes,
the points that you mentioned about, being mindful about sustainability, it's important to have balance, not too much, not too less, just enough. I think this is such an important principle, and it's not, I think, just applicable to economic development or the macroeconomic picture, but even when we are thinking about our own lives. I kind of feel that what you shared that principle can be applied to even our lives as well. Often we are, just trying to get something and we think, oh, if I get a better job, then I'll do something. If I get, more money, if I, get a new house, then I'll do something else. But I think we need to be careful about what we are asking for and ask the question why we are asking for it. Where's the balance? Are we okay with working 80 hours a week? Or should we also think about some work-life balance? So I think the fresh perspective and the different kind of ideas that young people like you are bringing, it's incredible, and everyone can learn a lot from you. So I think my last question to you will be what message of empowerment you'd like to convey to the young people? And I'll go back to Shreenabh again. So if you, just imagine so many people, so many young people are going to watch you, going to hear from you. So how do you like to empower them?
So the only thing I would like to tell is you have to be internally motivated to bring about change. When I was in standard 7 in grade 7, I wrote my first article about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir, who is a great scientist from India and is a change maker. That first article and the comments which I got about that article has motivated me till date. And now I have written about 150 scientific articles. I have carried out 8 big researches and published research papers. I have written 2 books and I am doing a lot of things. The only thing which drives me is motivation. So another thing which I would like to tell is being born is the greatest gift of God. That is the maximum you can get from it in one lifetime. And to make it worthwhile and useful is in our own hands. It is believed that every living thing is connected to one another. But when I read about the egg theory, I realized a different perspective towards life. So through this webinar, I would like to present this egg theory, which is a very old theory given by some philosopher, I don't recall, but I am sure it will empower the youth. So this theory, so it's more of a story. So I would like to start with the beginning. So in this egg theory, what happens is there is a man who is driving a truck and he accidentally gets hit by another, maybe some tree, I remember. So, and he dies in the process. So his soul goes to the God and he asks God, where am I? Is this the heaven? So the God says, yes, you are in the heaven and I am God. The God is a very big picture as compared to the small soul of that man, not dominating, but always encouraging. So the God tells him, let us go for a walk. The man says, where am I? There is no ground beneath my feet. How should I walk? So he holds him by his shoulders and say, let us go for a stroll. The man asks him, what will happen to me? Will I go to hell after some time, or what is the balance between my sins and the good deeds which I have done? The God says you will be reincarnated. The man says, wow, that would be great. How many times have I been reincarnated? He starts feeling enthusiastic. But the God tells him, wait, young man, you're going too fast. The God tells him, you will be incarnated into a Chinese woman in the 550 AD. The man gets confused. He says, am I going back into the time, or is that something like that? The God says, yes, you will go back into the time and you will be reincarnated into a Chinese farmer, a woman. The man says, wait, does it work this way? Can we even go back into time? Is time travel possible? The God says, yes, your soul has been reincarnated a lot of time and it will be reincarnated once again. Believe me, every soul on this earth, in this universe, is you. It is your reincarnations which are roaming all around you. I mean, this theory is so difficult to accept at first, but it brings about the only truth of life, that it is you who is everywhere. Whenever you hurt someone, it is indirectly you who are hurting yourself. It is some or the other reincarnation of yours which has been carried about from some time. So it might be possible that you are sitting in a train and you meet your own reincarnation and just don't realize. So the God says, yes, this is the thing that is happening exactly at every moment in time. Whoever you meet with is you. If you hurt someone, you are hurting yourself. If you do something good for someone, it is you who are benefiting yourselves. And when you have lived every single life in this whole earth, right from the time when it started, it all began with the Big Bang, to the end of this universe, when you have lived each and every life, you have had every possible experience, you will be reincarnated into God and the universe reaches singularity. I mean, this theory is very complicated at once, but a very simple takeaway to take is that it is you who is everywhere. So this theory has definitely changed my perspective towards life, and I just wanted it to share this theory through this platform. So you can, if you want, you can search this theory. It is called the egg theory. You can just Google it and maybe read more about it. So that's what I wanted to share.
I think I would love to read more about it. And the simple takeaway I'm taking from the story is, if I see the universe, if I do not differentiate between myself and other people, ideally there should be no problems at all. So all the divisions that we artificially create between nations and societies, different colors, caste, all the human-made structures that we have created for our own purpose, I think it's time to rethink that, and maybe we can think everyone as our own, and we can feel united in a very different way. What about you, Udayan? What message of empowerment you would like to give?
Yes, Anjali, let me start. I get very concerned when I see young people and youth 24/7 busy in the virtual world. Technology is definitely a blessing, but we need to use it judiciously instead of getting consumed by it. These days, I see my friends engrossed in a game called PUBG that they keep on playing it continuously. And because of these online games, they are always in a state of aggression and they are not able to focus on anything productive, calming, and fundamental. The virtual world is taking the youth away from the real world, and the youth are becoming more and more lonely. So, the youth are getting more and more hooked to the digital realm. This is creating a vicious cycle which the youth needs to break it. The youth needs to bring all the stakeholders of the planet together. The old people are situated more at the periphery of the society. So, by bringing the old and the youth together, and by integrating the virtual world with the real world, we can bridge the gap and bring the balance which is missing and so very essential in today's time. Last, I would like to conclude by saying the wisdom of the elders and the energy of the youth holds the key for making a better planet. Thank you.
I think that's such a wise thought that you just shared with us, and
Yes.
hopefully many people around the world will get to hear you. It's incredible the power you have, and trust me, just talking about these two beautiful things, that the energy that youth has and the wisdom that old people have, if only we can bring this together, then of course I'm sure, I have hope that we will
Yeah.
find a lot better planet. We can make this planet a lot better, and we will create a better world to live in. So I think we are about to end this webinar. So do you have any last word to share with our viewers? Any last comment, anything that you would like to say as a parting statement? So over to you, Shreenabh.
Yeah, I would just like to wish everyone a very happy new year, whoever is watching this at any point of time. And the one thing which I would like to tell everyone is to stay happy, stay safe, and the best thing is to stay internally motivated. That is the only thing which you can do that will drive you to bring about change. And I would want everyone not to think only about themselves, but to think about the very person which is next to them. And may this cycle continue to bring about an entire transformation in the humankind. So, a very happy new year and a new life, a new journey to everyone. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Shreenabh. That was very wise. And Udayan, what did you like to say?
Okay, so very happy new year for all of you, everyone all around the world. And I would advise everybody to stay in the real world, to enjoy with friends, to keep away or keep a balance between the virtual world and the real world. Actually, the internet, the mobile phones, and the digital technology is all for the service of the humankind. We should use them for the betterment of mankind instead of just getting submitted to digital devices. So I would encourage people to react with, to keep connections with real friends, to stay with everyone, interact, and stay in the real world. Thank you.
Thanks, Udayan. That was lovely. I think it's really interesting how, despite being so young, you brought together such meaningful concepts that everyone, no matter how old or young they are, they can learn from you and they can make the upcoming year a very beautiful year. So from my side, I would like to wish everyone a very happy new year and hope that this new year will bring the very important balance in your life, wherever you are, which position you are in, but maybe you can think about how to, make a conscious choice between life, work, and balance it properly. So I think that was it from us, and thank you for watching, and over to you, Patrick.
Thank you so much, dear Anjali, for moderating today's webinar, as well as to Udayan and Shreenabh, also for sharing your great stories and you're inspiring us with your insights and your wisdom on today's topic, Youth Innovating for a Better World. And dear viewers, these three inspiring leaders you just have heard sharing their stories and wisdom, I hope they have motivated you to further innovate and co-create a sustainable planet, and to be an agent of change in service to community and to all life on Earth. So now comes the time to say goodbye to our three inspiring speakers and young innovators at today's webinar. So thank you, dear Shreenabh. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today and your experiences. Do you want to say something?
I would just like to say everyone to be safe and be happy at all times.
Thank you so much. And also thank you, dear Udayan. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your stories, and also for particularly reminding us to create a balanced life, and as well to bring the young generation, the old generation together. So thank you for reminding us that.
Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And now thank you, dear Anjali, for moderating this webinar in a fantastic way, and also for sharing your experience and your thoughts together with Shreenabh and Udayan. So I think we are very grateful for your moderation today, and we wish all of you all the best and very happy end of the year, and an utmost successful and bright and epic new year 2020. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
So dear viewers, with this webinar on Youth Innovating for a Better World, the webinar series Essay Contest Winners Forum commemorating the 20th anniversary of the International Essay Contest for Young People is coming to a close for this year. We, the Goi Peace Foundation team, are truly grateful to all first prize essay contest winners who participated in this webinar series. We thank them for sharing their experiences and wisdom on various societal topics we have addressed at these 7 webinars. We would also like to express our gratitude to you, dear viewers, and hope that the webinars have further motivated you to become change makers in your communities and countries wherever you are. The 7 webinars featuring our inspiring and innovative first prize essay contest winners who have addressed exciting societal topics can be watched at any time on the website of the Goi Peace Foundation. Those of you who would like to participate in the International Essay Contest for Young People next year in 2020, the topic and guidelines will be available on the Goi Peace Foundation website from the mid of February 2020 on. Therefore, stay tuned for the announcement and for more information. And let me wish you, on behalf of the whole team and staff of the Goi Peace Foundation, a bright and peaceful, successful, healthy, and epic New Year 2020. Thank you so much for watching. Au revoir. Namaste. Shanti Rahe. Stay tuned. Thank you.